What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? It's your bald head beat maker, Mike Check. Your host, well, 1/3 of your host of Agree to Disagree. How you guys doing this evening? I know y'all probably wondering where's the other two knuckleheads at. Well, we got the holidays coming up, and schedules. You know what I'm saying? They kind of collide and they conflict. Is that word? Conflict? Yeah. And so out of respect of everybody that's got something going on, you give them the night off. Like, yo, you got to handle your business. And so I had a little bit of time, so I felt like I should pull up and give you guys some content. So here I am, send me. So yeah, before we start, make sure you hit that like button. Help me out. You got to help us out on the algorithm. It's a lot of work doing content. You guys know. A lot of you guys are content creators yourself. So you know the sacrifice and the hard work it takes to show up and show out and try to bring quality content. A lot of people just show up and just, hit the record button and get the yapping, and that's cool. I can't wait till I get to that status where I can just click and just yap. But we not there yet. We're young, we're babies in this content creator space. So every time we show up, we got to show out. We got to bring some content to make you stay at least 5 minutes, because that click-through rate and those watch hours is something serious. So when you hit the record button, you got to be ready to say something meaningful, something that's going to bring value. And so I'm not saying we all perfect, but I'm just saying we understand what the algorithm, we understand what this thing is all about. So we try our hardest to bring you guys some value, even within the entertainment. We laugh, joke, we kiki and all of that, but we try to give a perspective that may be different from what you've heard. We don't know, because we don't watch YouTube like that. So you may hear some things that may sound like somebody else already said it. We don't know. So if you hear something that we say that was already said, then, we apologize. But we just giving our perspective. And if it happens to match someone else's, so be it. Because like I always say, there's nothing new under the sun. There's no original thoughts. There's no more original thoughts. Everything is said has already been said. So the best thing we could do with that is give a different perspective, hopefully. And even that's kind of like impossible. You may think you're giving a groundbreaking perspective, and then you got 8 million more people over there that agrees with you, and it's like, oh well. But we still keep it pushing. So please hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe. Please click the notification bell to all. Don't just subscribe. Click that notification bell, and it'll pop. It'll give you a little drop down. Make sure you click all, so then when we post, you'll get the notification. And you can join the chat or join the comment section. If we don't do a premiere, we still want to hear from you. Please, please, please. When we say join the conversation, we mean that. We're not talking at you. We're talking with you. We can't go live yet. Let me stop. We can go live. I don't want to go live yet because we don't have enough eyes on us. We can go live, but we're choosing not to go live right now because we're going to slow walk this thing and build value first. That way, when the value is there and we go live, then people will want to interact. So I stand corrected. We can go live. This right here, I could have went live, but I'm choosing to pre-record. And you're gonna notice on the pre-record, there's no jump skips. I'm not jump skipping, jump hopping. You getting it raw as if it was real, if it was live. Pause. But yeah, no knock to nobody else to do jump skips, because trust me, I'm gonna be doing some jump skips in the future. But jump skips don't help the watch hours. So you finna get all the bloopers and you finna get everything. So tonight's topic is, as you saw in the title, is the no-snitch culture. No-snitch culture. I have some strong thoughts and feelings about the no-snitch culture, but I like to use illustrations. I like to set it up. I like to set the conversation up with a visual aid. Well, I shouldn't say visual aid because that's a picture, but an illustrative aid to help drive the point home. So I've been watching on the internet, and lately, over the last few years, snitching is a big topic. It's a polarizing topic. Is it okay? When is it acceptable? And the fact that it's a conversation lets me know that the community, and I'm gonna say the community, I'm not gonna say the Black community, because all communities suffer from this. So I don't want to make this a color issue. This is a community issue. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't want you to think I'm trying to water down the message. It definitely happens in the Black community, the brown community, the white community, and other communities. But I'm just gonna keep it to communities because everybody can relate to this. The fact that it's a conversation lets me know that the community is moving in the right direction. What do I mean by that? Back in the 90s, because I'm 47. So back in the 90s when I was a teenager, or young, depending on what part of the 90s, a teenager to young teenager, bro, snitching wasn't even that wasn't even a conversation about is it acceptable or Oh no. That there was no snitching, period. There was no civilian snitching, and there was no street people snitching. And I'm using that term, vanilla term, just because I don't want to make this a Black community issue. Even though it's prevalent in the Black community, there's snitching going on in every community. So I'm just going to leave it as street people. So the mere fact that this is a conversation lets me know that we're moving in the right direction. Because like I said, back in the 90s, 80s, the late 80s, and I'm only saying late 80s because I'm 47. I'm sure it was happening in the early 80s and 70s and beyond, but I can only speak from my existence. So from that time period, there was no negotiating, there was no debating, get that out of here. So that's a good thing, in my opinion, that it's even being talked about. I know y'all think like, well, what do you mean it's a good thing? Well, some of you. Well, before I dive into the whole snitch or no snitch culture, I like to share a story with you. This is not a real story, but still, this is a story. This is a hypothetical that could happen and does happen all the time in many communities. So bear with me as I walk this thing down and make it connect. So I got to get in character. So I have this child, right? And my kid, well, it could be male or female, because like I said, we're not going to make anything specific. So my kid, they like to spend a night over their cousin's house, because that's what family does, right? Cousin spend a night over your house, you spend a night over your cousin's house, right? Cool. My kid goes to spend a night over their cousin's house. We're gonna call it my wife's side of the family. This is hypothetical. But my kid goes and stays over to my wife's brother's house, which would be their uncle, right? He's good with kids, right? He's one of those dads that, all the kids flock to him, and throw him in the air. They just have tons of fun with him, right? He's one of those types. So he goes, my kid goes over there, and they're all playing all together. The cousins, they all playing. And the uncle, he's a little too frisky. We'll just call it that. He's a little too frisky. They started off fun, but it kind of got frisky. It kind of got a little slightly uncomfortable, because my kid was not quite sure, but was like, okay. Cool. No harm, no foul, right? So some time passes. Now, the cousins are at my place now. We're hosting it. We're hosting the sleepover. Everything's cool. Everything goes off just fine. A month later, my kid goes over to the cousins. And they do it again. Everybody's having a great time. Uncle's being uncle, right? He's the kid, the kid whisperer. Once again, he's getting just a little weird. Getting a little weird, right? But my kid not thinking that much because everybody's around. All of the cousins are around. So even though they're confused, they're not really alarmed because everybody's around, right? So what happens again? They go over there again to spend the night. This time, the cousin's not around. The cousins are not around. But Uncle Kid Whisperer is repeating that same behavior. Being a little too frisky. And making my kid feel uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And I was getting worse. It didn't escalate. Now, mind you, I don't know. This is all hindsight, right? This is a hypothetical hindsight. So all of this is going on for a year and a half. A year and a half. Hold on, let me sip my Tito's. All this is happening in a year and a half span. I don't know nothing. I'm just stupid, blind, dumb, whatever. Now my kid is acting out. And as a parent, you know your child, you know their behaviors. Everybody has a behavior. Your spouse, your mate, your kids, your loved ones, everybody has a pattern. Once they break pattern, you know something, you spot it, right? So I'm noticing my kid is just like acting weird, like just acting out and just being defiant, and I'm just, I'm thinking something's at school, I'm thinking, right, somebody's bullying them, or I'm not thinking the worst, I'm just thinking something's going on, right? So me and my kid, we bumping heads because I'm trying to figure out, like, what's your problem? Like, what's to you? So this goes on for a couple of months of us bumping heads, trying to figure out hey, this ain't how I raise you. You need to relax, right? So finally, after a year and a half plus a couple of months of us bumping heads, My kid tells me the unthinkable, most despicable thing you could ever imagine. And all I'm thinking is, I'm about to crash out. I'm about to spend the rest of my days in ISP. And for those who don't know, that's Indiana State Prison, because that's where I'm at in Indiana. Oh, I'm about to crash out. There's not a shadow of a doubt. I'm about to blow up his whole spot, figuratively and literally. But then I get to thinking, because Uncle Child Whisperer over there, this dude is a very powerful man in the community. He's very popular in the community. Like, he's an untouchable in the community. That's how influential this man is. But I'm ready to crash out. I'm ready to crash out over mine. But this dude is so powerful, pause, that if I were to attempt to blow up his spot, they're not gonna believe me. They're gonna find every excuse to side with him based on his reputation with the community. And I know this because I've seen it happen before. When he cheated on his wife, I watched him cheat on his wife. And I watched how the community backed him. But I'm still ready to crash out. So now I'm faced with a decision. It shouldn't be a hard decision. It should be very easy. Your child just got violated numerous times. There shouldn't be any other negotiation, any other thought process. It should be go time. He should be greenlit. The green light should be on, like on site, right? But guess what I did? Guess what I did? Hold on. Guess what I did? Instead of blowing up his spot and spending the rest of my days at ISP, Indiana State Prison, I closed my mouth. I didn't say anything. Just to preserve his reputation in the community. He had done so much in the community that I was scared to face that boogeyman and the backlash. So what did I do? I gaslit my own kid. I told him or her, I told them, oh, no, it wasn't, no, that's Unc. He just played too much. He just gaslit the situation. Made them rethink and, manipulated the situation to make it look like, it wasn't all that, I tried to rehabilitate my child behind the scenes, right? While trying to preserve his reputation in the community because he was a bigwig in the community. added on to the psychological damage of my child, of not only having to go through that thing with him, but now watching their dad gloss over it like it never happened, gaslighting them, doing all kind of psychological damage and trauma to that child, all because no one would stick up for them. What does that story have to do with what we're talking about today? That child, that figurative child, is the community. The psychological damage that you do to a community the decades, the years, the centuries that you can set a community back by simply turning the other cheek or looking the other way or gaslighting a situation that didn't happen, that did happen. This is the same thing you do to a community, black, brown, white, whatever. When you allow no snitching to be a thing, you set the community back psychologically, mentally, physically, financially. These are the damages that you cause to a community when you don't snitch. Now, if that story was true, which it wasn't, I just wanted to drive. I was being hyperbolic. I wanted to drive the point home. If that story was true, how would you look at me as a father? How would you look at me as a man? How would you look at me as a human if I allowed that to happen to my kid based on someone else's reputation? Because I was scared of the backlash. I would rather take the whole community down, or in this case, I would rather just destroy my kid and gaslight my kid because I'm scared to take this predator down. It's the same thing with the community. When these street people, I'm trying to keep it vanilla because I don't want to make this a black thing, because we're not the only ones with issues out here. But when you allow the street people to run havoc in the community and you say nothing, oh, you're contributing to the community, for sure. For sure. But you're not contributing like you think you are. You're contributing to the downfall of the community, not the uplifting. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, look, hey, I'm only a civilian. If I say something, my life is in danger. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's, excuse me, I can't argue with that. But remember the story that I just gave you. If your kid was violated by a street dude, forget the uncle. If your kid was violated by a street dude, you wouldn't you almost said something. I almost lost my religion. You would not care. You would not care about losing your life for your seed. At least I would hope. I would hope. If your kid was getting violated by a street guy, it wouldn't matter. You'd be willing to die, right? So that same principle should be and should have been applied to any other situation. You step outside, you just having a cup of coffee, and you see something that happened down the street, that's somebody's kid. No, that's not your kid, but that's somebody's child that just got violated. The same as if your kid got violated, you wouldn't have no problem stepping up and saying something. So the same rule should apply. But now that's on the civilian side, right? I think we all pretty much understand, yeah, a civilian. Yeah, I can understand a civilian snitching, right? But back in the day, it didn't matter. Civilian or street person, it didn't matter. No snitch. You snitch. What they say, snitches get stitches. They meant that. But at least the conversation is progressing to now that if you're a civilian, I guess it's okay. So now it's street on street. Now the problem is, well, if we did the crime together, brother, what are you doing? You can't tell on me. We both did the crime. And I kind of understand that. But we got to keep in mind, self-preservation is real. Self-preservation is real. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. We all suffer from it. Your kids suffer from it. Adults suffer from it. When you were a kid and you broke a vase, right? Your mom's vase or whatever. She's at work. She come home from work. And you trying to figure out a good enough story to not make you the reason why the vase broke or the vase broke. You're trying to make the story believable enough, but not that you were the reason why the vase broke or the vase broke. Same thing as an adult. Self-preservation. I'm a truck driver, right? I drive dump trucks for a living. So with a dump truck, obviously, truck, trailer goes up, you dump the load, right? Sometimes when the trailer goes up, the trailer goes over, bloop, falls down, right? Fall down, go boom. 99% of the time when a trailer fall down, go boom, that's driver error. That has nothing to, a trailer just don't fall out of the air. A trailer just doesn't tip over. So there has to be some negligence involved. So in my 20 years of driving, 21 years of driving, whatever, yeah. Rarely have I ever seen a person totally own up to why the truck did what the truck did. Oh man, I heard I was just the trailer was straight. It went up straight, and I just heard the snap, and then it went over. Now, does that relieve that driver of any what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, y'all, help me out. Of any accountability? No, he said the trailer was going up straight. He heard a snap and it just fell. So there's no way that could have been his fault, right? But what really happened is the trailer was going up. It was leaning a little bit. He still wanted to take a chance. He wanted to get the load off. He was ready to go home. Not really paying attention. The trailer's leaning. He's still trying to raise it up. And then snap, and it went over. See, he omitted the one part that would have made him accountable. Yes, I saw the trailer leaning as it was going up, but I still took the chance anyway, and then I heard something snap, and the trailer fell over. That's self-preservation. We all do it. I've done it. We all do it. We try to preserve thyself. Is that thyself? We try to preserve self. I say all that to say this. Even if two street guys do a crime together, guess what's gonna happen? And the cops know this. The first one that talks, walks. The first one that talks gets the best deal. The cops know about self-preservation. We're just too stupid to understand that before we do the crime. We're too in the moment, too emotional. So that's why I don't understand why this is even a conversation about snitching or about oh, the street guy shouldn't snitch on the other street guy. And if he does, he's a brother. If you want to do a crime, do it yourself. And I'm not green lighting. I'm not justifying crime or anything. But I'm just saying, if you're going to do something stupid, do it by yourself. You can't expect another man to be loyal as you, because self-preservation is going to kick in. You're going to take somebody's going to take the deal most times, not all the time, most times. And that's not a chance you should take. In my opinion, I think you should just not do the crime. In my opinion. Yeah, self-preservation is a real thing. I don't understand why this is even a conversation about snitching, but I'm just talking about it. I'm just chopping it up with y'all. You know, join the conversation below. Computer just glitched. It just paused. It just had me looking crazy. It had me pause like this. I have no idea why, but it had me froze. Another thing, while we're on the topic of street guys, when you go to prison, do not lie about why you're there. This is one thing I learned. I didn't know, because I've never done time in prison. Them guys already got the drop on you before you get there. They know how the process goes. They know how long you should be here, then be there, then be there. They know if you snitched. The paperwork is crazy behind the walls. Pause. Don't go in there false flagging. Don't go in there faking the funk. Don't go in there, period. Don't do the crime, period. But I'm just saying. This is, I didn't just learn this, but I've learned this. We lie every day. We lie every day because we can, because we think that person won't find out. But when you go behind that wall, integrity is for real. Receipts are for real. They ain't got nothing but time. Literally and figuratively. So after they classify you and put you where you need to go, just know they already know what time it is. Don't go in there with your chest poked out like you did something and you really didn't. You caught a body, but it was self-defense, and you trying to go in there acting like you was John Gotti. They already know what time it is. Don't go in there behind the wall acting like you was somebody outside the wall. Because if they don't know you, that's a problem. That means you was nobody outside the wall. If nobody can vouch for you behind that wall, you probably shouldn't play gangster. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. You know, I'm flying solo, So yeah, that's one thing I learned. Because I used to work at a prison. I used to work at, let me tell y'all a quick story before we get out of here. I used to work at Westville Correctional Facility. And that's in Westville, Indiana. No, I wasn't a cop. I was a cook to supervisor. This is an embarrassing story. This is for real. This is an embarrassing story. So I worked there in the year 2000. From 2000 to 2001. And I'm going to tell you why I only worked there a year. So, all right. So, all right, I worked there and it was crazy because, like I said, I'm from Gary. And walking in there was like walking in the lunchroom in high school. I was like, what up? Oh my, what? It was crazy. It was crazy. I was only, let's see, 2000. So I was born in 78. So I was 22 working at a prison. Crazy work. So anyway, So I'm walking through not walking through the yard, but walking through the prison or whatever, and it felt like it was sad to say it felt like home. I'm just like, what up, but I had to keep it, professional. Everybody I grew up with, not everybody, but a lot of people I grew up with. There was some fun times. That was some fun times. Bro, we used to beat on the tables because I was a cook two supervisor, meaning I was the supervisor over the inmates that worked in the kitchen and cooked the meals, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Bro, we used to be in there beating on the table, freestyling, right? Westville is all Caucasian. It's like Caucasianville. It wasn't Westville. It should have been named Caucasianville. So the other COs and cook two supervisors, they was looking at me like, right? Because, he's just young Negro fraternizing with the inmates. I mean, I was just being cool. I was just being me. I'm a people person. So we used to beat on the table, freestyle. They called me Dollar Mike. I don't know why. Probably because I worked at, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I was Dollar Mike behind the wall. And the other COs hated me. They was like, get him out of here. I'm sure he bringing in drugs, and I wasn't bringing in nothing. I was just whatever, just going to work doing me. So I knew they were watching me just for the simple fact because I was fraternizing. You're not supposed to fraternize with the inmates. But hey, I told y'all, I said, hey yo, I ain't one of them. I'm not them. I respect y'all. I said, the only difference between me and you is this: you got caught and I didn't. So, hey, I respect you. You know what I'm saying? Just don't do nothing crazy and we cool. Right? So we got our understanding out the way real quick. Like, don't look at me like I'm some goofy that's trying to, you know what I'm saying, get a one up on y'all because y'all behind the wall and I ain't. I said, no, I don't. I'm humble. We the same. You just got caught and I didn't. So after that day, we was cool. So another little behind the wall story where I had to check one of the inmates because he thought it was sweet. We in the chow line, because when you're in the chow line, you got the cook two supervisor, this the head of the line, making sure everybody get their plate and blah blah blah. So you had this one guy come through, talking some no pork on my fork, no pork on my fork. I mean, he banging on the gate. No pork on my fork, no swine on mine. No pork on my fork, no swine on mine. He bang, and I'm looking like, okay, he one of them. He one of them. You're the class clown. He one of them. One of them little gangster class clowns or whatever. So he causing all kind of ruckus. Oh, no pork on my fork, no swine on mine. I'm like, brother. Why didn't I say brother? I said the N-word. Brother, I'm just substituting it. We heard you. No pork on your fork, no swine on mine. We got you. Buddy musta, I don't know. Buddy nutted up like, I looked at bro, I said, Nick, I'm sorry. I said, brother, even though I said the other word, I said, brother, don't let this monkey suit fool you. I'll beat your, you could finish the rest. This was back before I was practicing. This was when I was in my secular days. So you got to excuse my language at the time. You could fill in the blanks. I'm not going to say it now, but yeah, I was ready to get down in that prison. Like, hold on, brother. I just told y'all I respect y'all, right? I already laid the groundwork. I respect everybody in here. But don't think for a second that this monkey suit represents what you think it do. Didn't have a problem out of nobody else in there after that. And I'm not just saying that to toot my own horn. I'm just telling you my Westville Correctional Facility stories. And it gets embarrassing after that point. So after I get my, what do I want to say? My respect up. Now all of a sudden people propositioning me. yeah, man, my man, what bring in a cell phone, Now they got cell phones in prisons. Now they on Instagram in prison. Like, what was this at when I was, right? So they wanted me to smuggle cell phones in. I'm like, no, gee, I can't do that. Like, why would I do that? Why would you want me to do that? All right, bet. So you want me to risk my job to bring you in a cell phone? That what you telling me? That's how much you respect me? So I'm trying to reason with these guys, right? I never brought nothing in, but I knew the heat was on. Because you don't know who's an informant. You don't know who's an informant behind that wall. You don't know who's trying to set you up. You think you're doing a good deed by bringing in some weed and cigarettes and a cell phone. Whole time, buddy trying to line you up so he can get some less time. You get what I'm saying? Back to the snitch thing, right? To the informant thing. You don't know what time it is in these prisons. That's why you don't play ball. Don't ever play ball. So of course I didn't play ball. It's another part of the story I'm gonna leave out because it was another CO, well not a CO, but another Cook 2 supervisor that was. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that out. So I knew the heat was on me because they was watching me too hard, right? Looking for any reason to get me up out of that joint because they was like, oh, he one of them. Like, get him out of here. He one of them. So anyway, this one faithful, sunny, warm, breezy, pleasant day, I'm riding my a box truck. So they stack all of the trays on the box truck, and then you got to take the food to each part of the prison, right? You got the GFC side, you got the C. I forgot that it's been 20 something years now. So anybody that did time in Westville, my bad if I know I got GFC right, or GFC. Wait, no, that's Gordon Food Service. I think GFC. That was a dorm. Anyway, you had to take food to the different dorms. And then the inmate would come out and roll it into the kitchen and then whatever. So I was just a drop-off guy, right? So I get to GFC. I'm pretty sure it was Oh, let me tell you, before that, let me pause real quick. They hated me. I was in there doing push-ups with them. Like, we would have push-up contests. I'd be the only dummy with my little, my monkey suit, as they call it, doing push-ups with the inmates. Oh, they hated me. They hated your boy. Oh, they like this. Oh, they hated me. So anyway, so I pull up, I back the truck into the dock, the box truck to the dock. And then when you get out, you get the CO. The CO would get the inmate to come pull the trays off of the truck. Brother, tell me why it was an inmate hiding in the dumpster. Hiding in the dumpster, waiting for my goof troop to pull up, back the truck up. I walked into the kitchen to get the CO, so the CO could get whoever was a designated inmate to come unload the truck. Bro, tell me why when I got in the kitchen, I'm talking to the CO. Next thing you know, I hear banging and I hear banging on the windows. They cheering. Yeah, bah, 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 yeah. We thinking somebody fighting. We thinking it's a riot. Me and the CO, we turn around, look, bruh, my box truck bouncing through the cornfields, busting through the fence, off into glory. And I'm just standing there looking like, they done got me again. They got me. Bro jumped out the dumpster, stole a box truck. He was Audi 5000. Peace. Guess who was in IA? Guess who was in internal affairs? Getting interviewed, getting harassed. They thought I had something to do with it. I'm like, bro, because I was in that kitchen like not even a week ago doing push-ups with the clown that stole the truck and escaped. Side note, it was a white guy. Just not that matters. I just want to fill that in. The dude was from was he from Indianapolis? I don't know where he was from, but he had just got back from court. He was already doing time, but he just got back from court, and they gave him 9 more years for whatever he did. So Buddy was like, all right, I'm out. They set your boy up, ugly style. I say all that to say this: don't be friends with prisoners. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah. So bro was on the run for a week. This is before social media. I was reading a newspaper after I lost my job. No, I didn't lose my job. I'll get to that. Buddy was gone for a week, and I was watching the newspaper to see when they caught him, because I felt bad. I was like, dang, it was on my watch. So anyway, they had me in internal affairs, and they was like, well, why did you leave the truck running? I'm like, that's how they trained me. They said leave the truck running because the lift, because on a box truck they have a lift, a ramp, a motorized lift. They was like, the battery go dead, so leave the truck running. Okay, bet. So I left the truck running. Soon as dude break out the prison, now everybody, after they go interview everybody, train me, oh no, I didn't tell him to do that. Oh no. I'm like, bruh. I said, oh, okay. I see what time it is. They played you. They played your boy. Everybody was covering their butts. So internal affairs, it was like, yo, either you resign, take your badge off and resign, or we'll put in a recommendation for you to be fired, terminated or whatever. At that point, I ain't never been terminated. So I was just like, well, boop. So I'm out of here. Deuces. But yeah, that to this day, that's embarrassing because, you know, to know that somebody escaped on your watch, that's crazy. That's crazy work. If you just let that sink in. We ain't talking about this, nothing petty. This is a prison, a state prison. Somebody escaped on your watch because of you. Because of your negligence. You got caught slipping. You got caught lacking. You. That's crazy work. So yeah, that was 25 years ago. Dude stole my box truck, bounced through the cornfields, through the fence. He made it all the way to Michigan City, which wasn't too far from Westfield. Stole a Durango. That's on me. All of this is on me. Anything that happens after that is on me. Buddy was at a gas station at a Family, what's it called? Family Express. He had a Durango. He left it running to go get whatever, get gas, whatever. Came back out. Buddy jumped, whoop, whoop, boom. Stole his Durango. They didn't find him until he was in Florida. Buddy made it to Florida from Indiana. All because of me. I can't make this up. You can look it up. I guess you could try to look it up, but yeah. Westville Correctional Facility, inmate, escape, 2000, the year 2000. That's me, your boy. So yeah. So anyway, I didn't take up enough of y'all time. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please click that notification bell and click all so that when we do upload, you'll get it immediately. Not immediately. Not immediately. Immediately. There we go. I appreciate y'all being patient with me and letting me walk this thing down. You know what I'm saying? I'm solo dolo tonight. You know, we solo dolo, but we still agree to disagree. It's still all three. But like I said, it's the holidays tomorrow. So, you know, people get busy and I respect that. So we're going to keep this thing going and appreciate you joining us. And with that being said, man, we out.